Hi everyone, this is Paranormal Vegan, and today I'm going to be talking about something that I found very interesting. About a year ago, we went to New Mexico. Mad Dog and I went on a big camping trip, and we were gone for about 3 weeks, and we saw a lot of cool stuff. This is actually a picture of Shiprock, which we'll be discussing heavily today. Mainly I want to talk most about my theories on this strange, unusual, so-called volcanic neck is what they're calling this. But I don't know, I get a feeling that there might be more to it. So I've been researching a lot about these ancient trees and all types of things. So, we're going to get into, is it a volcano? Is it an ancient tree? Different things like that. So let's jump right into this. This is actually a picture that I took on our trip. Now, I think like most of the paranormal stuff that I wanted to go through was at least the Four Corners, and what was the other one? I want to go through Roswell. And the Four Corners I just had always heard were mysterious, and there was just something to them. I know that there was a lot of sightings of cryptoids and different kinds of anomalies and everything, but I had never actually heard of Shiprock. And we wanted to go through Farmington, New Mexico, because Mad Dog was actually born there. He's part Native American, and according to the research I was doing, back in 2016, you really are not allowed to go very close to this. I guess you have to get some kind of special permission, but we were there 2017. And I took a lot of these shots, so let's get started here a little bit. Basically, this was in Roswell, and took some shots there. This is one of the camping spots we went to. This was in Mesa Verde, and we took these like little pop-up tents, which is a little side note here. Highly recommend the Coleman pop-up tent, and the reason why is you can actually see the stars in this tent, so it's pretty cool. So I definitely wanted to throw that in there, let you guys know about it. It's not that expensive. It sets up in like seconds. The only hard part is getting it back together. It's kind of like, reminds me of like one of those cans that like pop out the little snake thing to surprise people. You have to figure out how to get that back into like the tent cover. But this was really cool, and I did end up using it for stargazing purposes, so it was pretty awesome. So I just thought I'd throw that in there. We took our dogs. This is Zoe and Lucky. They loved it. They had never been camping before, this one especially. And I think this one had been camping a long time ago, but this was the one that really ended up enjoying it. So just threw some pictures in there. Those guys, girls actually. This is actually a picture in front of the McDonald's at Roswell. And it's shaped like a UFO, and it has different like UFO kind of references inside. So I just thought that you guys would enjoy that. So yeah, still Roswell. This is me looking at like a little telescope thingy that they have those parks. This is the Mesa Verde. Now this is after Shiprock. We stayed here and camped. But these are where the Indians built their houses way up in the cliffs. They were super high, a lot higher than I ever thought when I see these pictures. I always thought like the ground was like right here, but no, these are like way high up there. So that's kind of cool. Thought I'd just throw in just a couple shots to just kind of get you familiar with our trip. But the main focus, of course, is going to be Shiprock. So here's Shiprock. I've got some live footage here I'm going to show you. Now, I don't know if I was really into the ancient tree theory back around this time. I'm not sure exactly when I saw there are no forests on flat Earth or whatever. I'm not claiming to be a flat Earth or anything. I'm a researcher. I like to try to debunk things or come up with new theories or just study things. So I'm really into just not really the fantasy of things, but just the idea of there could be extra things out in our world that we've always seen, but now people are coming up with a little bit slightly different information of what things could possibly be. because we've gotten some mixed signals from NASA and other sources, and now we're kind of confused. We've looked around and started seeing things in a whole new light. So, but immediately when I saw this mountain off in the distance, it looks like no other part of the terrain in New Mexico. And I remember just immediately getting out my camera and started filming because it just was so unusual. And then I do also remember pulling up my phone and trying to figure out what is this rock? Why is it so special, so interesting feeling? And it says made out of volcanic material, so immediately go, oh, okay, that explains it, and you move on. But with me, I'm still, over a year later, still kind of going, well, I don't know if that was the best explanation. And all this other stuff I've been watching and researching online, it just still nags at me. It's like, really, is this all there is to it? The other thing that got me thinking about this is the high, secrecy around this. They don't want people coming on and looking at this. It's just, they have all these things like someone died climbing it. They just want it private for some reason, and it just adds to the mystery. So I'm just gonna roll some of this footage here. And this is us kind of approaching Shiprock. So I'm just gonna let it roll here for a little. There's actually, I thought, there's like a face in here. Maybe it's like a little bit further. I was gonna show you. Could be. I don't know if you can see this right here, but it's actually almost like a mini version of Shiprock. And I noticed that when we were coming up close to it. And if you notice, there's just all these basically poor dwellings around it. Nothing fancy, but this is actually the road leading pretty much right up to it. But you really got the feeling like we weren't supposed to be there. So it was very eerie, very dark. And look at how dark this thing is. So yeah, it just is mesmerizing. You just want to know more about it. It's the only way I can really explain it. Now the Four Corners are known for some really, really strange stuff. They're actually known as kind of like the paranormal Disneyland, the Four Corners. So some of my theories about this Shiprock is, now if it is a volcano, some of my research has been leading up to volcanoes can actually be conduits for hell, actually, evil spirits and stuff. And some of the legends about this rock is that the Native Americans said this was a portal to hell. So that is one of the legends. Now I'm going to get out of this for a second, and we're going to go over some of the other legends to just give you kind of like some background on Shiprock. So give me just 1 second here. So, because there are quite a bit of legends on this one. I did do a little note here. Why did the Native Americans why didn't they get to name their own sacred Shiprock? Also, the Devil's Tower was supposed to be named Bear Lodge, but we gave it a negative sounding name. So that just really puzzles me. Here we took the land, then we kind of gave it back, but we named it Shiprock. That was an American who named that. Why didn't the Indians get to name it? I just think if I was a Native American, I'd be fighting for hey, we should name it. Here's one legend. The rock was sacred to the Navajo people, who called it the Tibet something, or the rock with wings. According to legend, it's all the remains of the giant bird that carried the Navajo from the north to New Mexico. So they believed it was, this big bird, and then when the bird landed down, this was the wing of the bird, and it turned into stone. So that's one theory. So here's just all different pictures of it. You can kind of see it's interesting because a lot of photos turn out different on this rock. No matter what day it is, here it looks how so dark it is, and then here it's like looks orange almost. I know when I filmed it, it looked really dark. It was like dark and eerie and ominous. Navajo legend also places the rock in the context of the entire landscape. Shiprock is said to be the medicine bag or bow carried by a giant mythical man-like being, whose body is made up of various mountain ranges and peaks. There's also another legend that says the flesh-eating bird monster lived atop of the Shiprock. One of the two warrior twins, a monster slayer, killed two of the bird monsters and turned one baby bird monster into an eagle and the other into an owl. The rock is even mentioned in various chants and ceremonies. So very interesting. You know, was it named after the eagle, or bird, or medicine bag? We don't know now. Also, Four Corners is known for a lot of mysterious sightings of possible pterodactyls, Bigfoots, skinwalkers, and I do want to touch base a little bit on skinwalkers. But mainly with my research, the two things was definitely the skinwalkers and actually missing time in this area. So this Shiprock actually is like a portal to hell. One of my theories is maybe this is where the skinwalkers are coming from. Maybe all this weird activity is coming from this ancient volcano, which, by the way, in New Mexico, there are no more active volcanoes whatsoever. So supposedly a long time ago, we had some active ones out in this area. But I'm proposing maybe this volcano, this ancient volcano, is the whole reason Four Corners has so many legends and so many different things going on. Maybe everything is emanating from the Shiprock. It's kind of a cool theory, I think. The also interesting thing is, my next theory I'm going to propose is possibly that diamonds are actually formed from volcanoes. Yeah, so I'm thinking maybe the whole, like, don't come near this rock is maybe this is full of diamonds, or maybe crystals. And the crystals also can act as like, maybe this is a different kind of portal. Maybe it's not a portal to hell, but maybe you can just enter this and go into another dimension. They said that the veils in the Four Corners are very thin there. So this could be some type of portal and the crystal energy and everything. But yeah, it's very, very, very interesting. So we're gonna look at how diamonds are actually formed. So I'm going to pull this up real quick for you here. And if you look right here, it says kimberlites can be found in a narrow 1-4 meter dikes and sills and in pipes with diameters that range from about 75 meters to 1.5 kilometers. So that does exist in Shiprock. And I'm going to go back here and also show you just real quick here. Well, if my computer will work with me here. Give me 1 second. I also wanted to go over to show you how they think Shiprock was formed, which is a little strange. So, see, to me sometimes this looks like a volcano, and other times to me this looks like a tree, an ancient tree that might have been hit by lightning, which one of the Native American legends is that they were actually living up on this mountain, or possibly tree, and it was hit by lightning, and it caused a lot of people to die, and they think some of the Indian spirits or bodies are still up there. And that's another reason why they don't want people climbing up here, because you can disturb some of the spirits that died in that lightning hit. But I mean, imagine, this looks like a tree to me, you know, and this could have been struck by lightning. It's very possible, if the ancient tree theory is correct. So I love this diagram. You can see the little guy's mouth and the eyes and everything. So supposedly, you know, I don't know, this just doesn't sit right with me. This is supposed to be the volcanic neck, is what they're saying the Shiprock is, and these are dikes that come off of the volcano and create these ridges. So there's a lot of ridges that Shiprock has, and they're called dikes. But this is, I guess, one of the best diagrams we have. I don't know. A lot of the diagrams trying to explain dikes and all that look very just like a 5-year-old drew. I'm sorry, but I just don't know why we can't have better examples to show us exactly what Shiprock is. Here's another simplified chart to show us that basically this is the volcanic neck, and here's the open vent, and we're supposed to believe that all this right here got eroded, but left this perfectly sticking straight up. So my question is when all this eroded, why didn't this also erode? You know, I couldn't find any answers to that. So all this was supposed to erode, and Shiprock was supposedly formed about 30 million years ago. So everything eroded away, leaving us the Shiprock formation. Here's the dikes. So basically these are formed, they're not sure if they're formed by, there's already cracks in the earth and the magma pushes up through the cracks, or if the volcano actually caused the cracks and this just pushed up through just regular earth. They're not sure on that. So that was very interesting. So as you can see, there's this big wall looking thing almost, and then there's Shiprock. So now the other interesting thing that I captured was, if this was a big ancient tree, let me get back to my little film here. I have found even in today's day and age, if these are ancient trees, I even think I discovered which tree in our modern times that these ancient trees used to be. And I do have a picture here, I'll show you. Go ahead and full screen this. I'm proposing that if these are ancient trees, that it could be this bald cypress tree. And I have some examples even right around where I live here of that. So let me go ahead and get to that. I'm going to show you here. Now here's a picture right outside my apartment complex. Here you have a tree. Now I could imagine this getting struck by lightning and all jagged looking, but look at these. This also looks like the dikes. I don't know, I'm just saying. So here's Shiprock. Now here, this to me could also look like a tree root. But supposedly their theory is this is lava, this is the neck of a volcano, and this was lava that also pushed up through the ground or possibly came down off the volcano. But this doesn't look like any type of lava I've seen come down, or it could be pushing up. So I'm kind of leaning more with probably a volcano, probably a portal of some kind, or diamonds here. But then there's another theory, and I'm going to get to that now. Just wanted to show you real quick, here's one of the legends. Coming across some of my research, I came across this interesting article from NASA. So once again, I'm going to go to the actual article here. Just give me one moment so I can pull it up for you. This is getting into my other theory of why is NASA getting involved with Shiprock? Here's my little note I have at the top here. Are they trying to get us used to the idea that the surface of Mars looks identical to the surface of Shiprock. Apparently so. So here we go. Now this supposedly is supposed to be Mars. And they're saying that this photo looks very similar to Shiprock. Okay. This just didn't smell right to me when I started looking into this. Let's see what they said here. Mars rover missions have found small versions they have been able to inspect up close. Some of these polygonal ridges, such as at Garden City, seen by the Curiosity, are veins deposited by mineral-laden groundwater moving through underground fissures long before erosion exposed the veins. Curiosity recently also imagined small boxwork ridges that likely originated as mud cracks. So they're saying also that Shiprock is a very rare example of this supposed type of volcano. But I don't think that looks anything like Shiprock. If you see this other photo I have of the article, it didn't capture everything here, but hold on, let me go back. I will show you right now. See, this original article showed this picture, and then it showed this picture. So that was supposed to be that. So, I don't know. I think that's also the other main leading theory that I have, is that it could, of course, be something NASA is trying to trick us with again to make us start thinking, yeah, the Mars is going to look exactly like New Mexico, so it's going to make it easy for them to fool more stuff for us. They're like trying to show, look, you know, this volcano looks just like the one on Mars. So we'll see. And I just wanted to show you here also. Here is the article. I'm not sure exactly where I got this, but this is where it tells you that purpose of safety formation and lava dikes, so they don't want you around here. We also just learned that the lava dikes also are the ones that would most likely contain the diamonds. Interesting. And it is recommended that the public stay at least 3 miles away from the formation and 20 feet, 6.1 meters from the lava dikes or walls. Interesting. When visiting, there are Navajo religious rites, the fundamental laws of the dying natural laws from the Navajo Nation, Title I laws, Navajo grazing rights, boundaries, and private property around and in the formations. As mentioned, the formation is considered a Navajo religious site. It is recommended that the public stay near the paved road and not to get too close to the formation, as mentioned, due to that cause. The restrictions were put in place on July 2016 by the delegated tribal authority, Navajo families and grazing holders that live around the formation, Shiprock Pinnacle tribal advocates, and members of the Navajo chapter and tribal counselor. So they mean business. They don't want you around this thing, really. Yep. Hiking, filming, and driving is all prohibited to the public due to its sacred nature and its sacred space. According to the Navajo traditionalists, this is an ecosystem of living and non-living matter that needs to be protected and unharmed. Well, that's why I got this other picture. There's a whole other monument right here that they consider very sacred, yet we're allowed to visit that all day long. You know, we have picnic tables, and we also have KOA. Now, when you got a KOA going, you know that they're bringing in money, and it's a perfectly safe spot to visit, and they're not too concerned if you're messing up Devil's Tower, because they got a KOA, you know. They're in the serious money-making business at this point. And I don't understand, like, they turn everything into a money-making venture with these, you know, ancient Native American, sacred spaces. So why has Shiprock never joined this whole come on out? And interesting, this was actually one of the very first national parks in America. So I did discover that on my research as well. This also has a legend of this bear that was trying to chase like Native Americans back in the day, the Devil's Tower. And supposedly this tower just rose up while the Indians were standing on the plateau, and they were saved from this giant bear coming after them. So that's kind of like the legend of Devil's Tower. One of the many I found. That's the Shiprock legend. It's a lot more dark and ominous for sure. Here's back to my NASA stuff. This was also telling how it was formed. Yep. Here we go again with the polygon-shaped ridges. Here's some more photos. This also looks like, here's the face, kind of. I thought that looked interesting, kind of. So yeah. Here's those pictures again of the bald cypress tree. Here's some more photos. There's that face again. There's the bald cypress tree again. Oh, this I thought was very interesting. Here's some more pictures of rock formations that I thought looked very similar. Very similar to that. Notice there's a water source right here, and it always seems like when this type of tree is near a water source, the roots go up like this. This is actually near my work. Look at that. How similar that looks. So very interesting. Yep, and this is a bald cypress tree. So very mysterious. Shiprock, if you ever get a chance to drive out there, it's a cool ride. I found it very beautiful, very mysterious. And I'm going to leave you guys with just some more photos that I took as I was leaving Shiprock. I saw one of the most beautiful sunsets I've ever seen. I saw a double rainbow, and then it turned into like a storm. One of the coolest storms that I captured with some more mesas around. So, and a little dedication at the end. So I hope you guys liked it, and just quickly go over my theories. I was proposing that Shiprock could possibly be a portal to hell because of volcanoes can be conduits, and demons such as the skinwalkers have been kind of seen, and the skinwalker is supposedly a medicine man that kind of turned dark to the other side, kind of like turned into a bad witch, which I did not know that skinwalkers or Indian medicine men have to learn both good magic and black magic, so they know how to counteract bad magic. So very interesting, but sometimes they want to just totally go into the dark side, and legend has it that in order for a shaman or a medicine man to enter kind of like the skinwalker realm, they have to kill a member of their own family, and then that turns them into a skinwalker. So very interesting on what skinwalkers are supposed to be. And they're very dangerous. So they can actually really harm you and even kill you, supposedly. So a lot of those have been seen around the area. The other theory I was proposing is NASA's preparing us for the Mars mission and getting us used to these images that they're going to fake us with later. So, and my other theory was an old petrified giant tree that was struck by lightning. So just kind of some cool stuff to think about, because I like looking at natural structures out in nature that have a calling to me as something maybe more to it. Maybe there is something more to the Shiprock just the fact that you're not even really supposed to go around there and check it out just makes me want to dig deep and find out more about it and question it and come up with these wacky theories. So anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I'm going to leave you with the storm that I captured, some more little mesas, and my little dedication.